Welcome everybody to Soul and Social. We're starting off with dances right away.
You missed it. Sorry, Tara.
We're kicking off the Soul and Social with the moves today. I'm so excited. My name is Tara. I'm here with my co-host Renee, and we are joined all the way from Portugal by the fabulous Lizete. I'm so honored to have you here today. Lizete supports leaders, women, and influencers to live, love, and lead from wholeness so they can live their best lives and true potential. She's an author, retreat leader, and creator of Arise, a unique integrated modality of life transformation that creates alignment and wholeness on all levels. So today we're going to be discussing the 4 stages in your journey to wholeness if you're looking for more peace and joy in your life. So Lizete, I'm so honored to have you here. I actually had the privilege of co-authoring with her in Shine and Courageous Hearts, and so I got to know her that way, and she's just like, oh, I love her.
It's so wonderful to be welcomed this way. I mean, it's so fantastic to walk in any room and then have someone like Tara say, "Yay, I'm so happy you're here." So I'm absolutely delighted to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Renee and Tara.
Thank you for coming. I wish we could be in Portugal doing it live with you.
Yeah, that would be great, right?
That would be like 3, definitely. Big hearts.
We may need sponsors for that, Tara. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to meet with you and was really excited about today's show. So yeah, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Lizete, you have to tell us a little bit about you. You're in Portugal right now. You've been speaking, you've been writing, you've been doing all this. Can you just give us like a little kind of glimpse to how you got to where you're at now? You've got the amazing program that's coming out right away. I know about it. I know some other stuff you have. So you're adventuring off from Portugal. Just give us some goods. Some juicy goods.
It has definitely been a journey, and right now I'm in Portugal, but my foundation and base is moving to Costa Rica. I'm originally from Botswana. So Botswana is like Southern Africa, absolutely beautiful little mining town where I grew up. My dad was an engineer down there, and then moved into Portugal, and from Portugal moved on to Holland, where I had my corporate career until about 5 years back. So now I'm actually just indeed running my own business and supporting, incredible leaders, organizations, influencers, because I've been on my own journey of wholeness. So I'm able now to bring that to the world and absolutely love what I'm doing.
Ooh, I love that journey of wholeness.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. It took me a while to actually understand that that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the seeking and in all the, being a seminar junkie and all the books, it was like, what am I really looking for? And when I found it, I realized that's what it was.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So can you take us a little bit into the 4 stages into the journey of wellness?
Sure.
Or a little brief little summary of what it looks like?
Yeah, I think actually maybe defining wholeness and starting from there is important, because everyone can have such a different idea of what that is. And for me, wholeness was about returning to the place where all of me was accepted and loved.
Ooh.
And aligned. And every bit was incredible, where I could literally just be all that I am in every moment. So we talk about peace and we talk about being present, and I used to teach executive presence, but without having all of us, we can never be present. Even in this moment, most of us aren't even here, like not fully here. And that was the kind of experience I had most of my life, but there was this void. And many people identify with this, and we try to fill it up with all sorts, good looking guys and great jobs and money and success, and yet the void is still there. So when we're in a state of wholeness, that void is completely not filled, it's just crossed. It doesn't exist. That's what wholeness means to me.
I like that.
Beautiful.
I think so many people do as well go through their life. So I've got a fly in here that keeps landing on my head. Go through their whole lives trying to fill this hole, this mysterious hole that most of us seem to have at one point or another in our lives. And, you know, whether it's filling it with shopping or addiction, or like you said, men, or just running away from actually standing there and facing it and embracing it.
Yes.
So I love that.
And it's so fair that we run, because it's scary. You know, we do everything to, and we've been taught this, and we've been told this, that we must do everything we can to feel happy, and then surely that will be so. So we are absolutely terrified of facing the stuff. And my search and my journey just wouldn't allow me to get away. You know, for me, the void was constant. And I knew, and I tried to do it with the success thing and the career, and it was a very great career. I got to the end, and we do this because we think, when I get there, then, and it just was never there. Until I really said, there is no choice but to face me. So normally I find that when my clients find me, they've probably tried pretty much anything under the sun. You know, they've just come out of a dark night of the soul where they said, you know, Lizete, I've tried it all. It doesn't work. What do we do? Yeah.
So for people who don't understand, what would you explain dark night of the soul as being?
So dark night of the soul, in my experience, is when the foundation of our life shatters. And that can happen in us getting a disease, or losing a loved one, or having our partners betray us, or losing someone really important. So it's basically when an element of our life starts shaking, where we notice our minds can no longer make up great stories to cover our pain. So we are confronted with the true pain that's in us. And normally, it's not just that one event that's painful. There's many deeper layers of pain to be faced.
Yeah.
But what I've experienced is normally when that whole foundation slips away, we have no choice but to learn new skills, to learn different elements of ourselves. So we do. And then when we look back from that time, we say, wow, actually, that was one of the most important things that happened to my life to get. The difference that I found with the journey of wholeness is we no longer have to crash and burn and absolutely be destroyed to take the next leap. We can just walk into it if we want. You know, that's what I'm like, we don't have to crash and burn, people. We can just leap. We can jump. And it's fantastic.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I'll let you go, Tara, because I could just keep asking.
Well, I think that's really beautiful. And I was having a conversation with somebody else recently, and we were talking about that really, you know, it's really that coming back within and really, you know, kind of connecting with yourself and communicating with yourself and listening to yourself. And that is such an integral part of moving forward and being able to, I think, find that trust within yourself to take that leap. And so I like it. This is juicy. It's good. It's good.
Here comes the chair dance again.
I know myself, right? It's like this ball of energy, hey?
That's fantastic. So when you work with clients, can you give us a little bit of information as to how that process would look for people? If people, you know, are experiencing the dark night of the soul, or some, you know, whether it's like you mentioned, death or loss of job, or divorce is a big one too, where you lose a big chunk of yourself. Is there like, can you just explain to us a little bit about how your process works and how you did it for yourself? I think would be really neat to hear.
Absolutely. So there's many ways that we can do it. That's what I found. It depends on what works for people. So, but the process is always the same. So sometimes I do it in retreat, and we do it in a group. I've got a lot of clients that come and work with me one-on-one, where we do a 3-day retreat, and then, you know, we do 6 months. So it's not necessarily what the format is as much as it is the process. The process of Arise, which I created, was basically my own journey, then summarized in a system, because I was a corporate professional trainer, a communication director. So I could see structures and processes. And then I started understanding the method behind the madness, like what really is going on. And of course, I was in the journey. So Arise is is integrated on 5 levels of transformation, which really was the journey. So I started from a very rational neuroscience background, trying to understand my mind. And I was led into, once I got my mind and my subconscious sorted, I thought, but there's more going on. I'm more than just a mind. And I was led into intuitive intelligence. So really listening to heart. And then I was introduced to consciousness, which was energy, which is beyond intuitive intelligence. It's really like cosmic or divine intelligence. And then I got introduced to the body because I live in one. And it was like, oh yeah, all of this cosmic stuff is great, but I'm up there somewhere and I still live with day-to-day. Yeah. So how do I deal with my emotional body and my innate body? And I really introduced to a different type of intelligence. And then the final lapse for me was around the soul, that I actually was a soul that had a whole other agenda than what I thought I had. So for example, if your soul is on the planet to learn about compassion, you might not understand why people are not loving you back. For example, if your soul is here to learn about unconditional love, you might not understand why your partner keeps running away from you, because your soul is still teaching you about, can I love him anyway? But once you understand the soul's agenda, life gets so much easier, right? And then not just knowing this agenda, but knowing this amazing soul that we are, this incredible essence of love that we are, and our powerful presence, everything starts falling into place. So this integrated mind, body, energy, soul, and heart is all working as one. And the reason so many journeys take so long is because we go to the head person, then we go to the body person, then we go to the heart person, only thinking, what on earth? And that's the journey I did, 19 years long, until I said, of course it wasn't going to work, because I'm a whole person. I am one, and all of these pieces are integrated.
Well, and I find it so ironic. I was going to say funny, but that's not the right word. But how until I had to go through my own journey, and it started with my son actually and his health and learning how there is a connection, because before he was sick, I didn't understand there was a connection between the mind, body, and the spirit, and how even like what you're saying, healing myself and really and I didn't heal it all at once, but looking at myself and my traumas and the way I deal with things and how that could affect my child and their health, and then helping them step through theirs, because most of theirs is brought on by mine. So realizing and witnessing in front of me my child healing from the same thing, it was really eye-opening and powerful for me. And I think you're right. I think we are just handed different situations until we learn what that lesson is. And, if we are brought here to love others or heal others or teach, whatever it is, we have to find that within us first. And you're right, that hole, it's generally sitting underneath all these experiences, just waiting to be figured out so that we can master through all this stuff. So I think that's beautiful. And I think, it is such a journey for people, but it can be so powerful. And yeah, I think it's beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. And, when I started discovering how incredible we really are as people, every single one of us, one of my biggest shifts in my own service to the world and those that I serve is to realize that I wasn't here to fix people. I wasn't here to help people. I wasn't here to support people, because we truly are masters. We are really incredible masters in our unique contribution. But indeed, what I was here to do was just kind of lay the roadmap so that people could access the greatness that's within them. They don't need me to tell them what to do. They know what they've done, though, is that they've been disconnected to who they really are. That's all. So when we have that, it's like the whole world opens up. So that's why I said love and lead, because it's all of those. It's how do I live? What is my inner being doing? How how am I dealing with my life, and then how am I loving others and my intimate relationships, and how am I leading? So that could be, I work with entrepreneurs and I work with corporate people just the same, because it's how do I bring that I am into the place that I'm impacting.
Ooh. You go, girl.
Thank you, honey.
Sorry, Tara.
Well, I think this is so really cool, because then this is, really where this conversation of alignment and, the law of attraction, where you start to bring in the things that you're meant to do in this lifetime. So I think it's a really cool conversation. And I know you've kind of got like a little juicy talk around this, and we spoke about it before, finding your soulmate in life. And maybe you could just tell us a little about that, because I think this is like such a I loved your story. It was so beautiful.
So all the girls got to love. All right, let's do this. So
I put you on the spot now. You're like, no.
That's fine. I can do it. And he knows that I do shows, so he's going to come up. Way more private than me. But this is interesting, because this does fit beautifully. Actually, it's a fantastic next question. Because one of the things that I noticed in my life was that I really, really was a romantic. So there's some women, they talk about, I'm an empowered woman, I don't need a man. Okay, I was not that woman. I was completely and utterly aware that I loved romance, I loved romantic. If I wasn't in a good intimate relationship, like, this world did not make sense to me right now. But because I wasn't whole, you can just imagine the stuff I had to learn through my beautiful intimate relationships. Yes, from the playboy to the narcissist to the too nice guy, and there was always something wrong with them. And in my journey to wholeness, and I was married 15 years to one of the nicest human beings I knew, and he's still a very good friend. We've divorced now 5 years, but in this journey of wholeness, I understood that one of the most important areas of my life was to share who I am in a balanced, beautiful, harmonious relationship with the masculine. But there were many, many things in me that I needed to solve. So many women come to me because their relationship isn't working, or because their partner is doing whatever. But it is never really about their partner. It is rather about what I have accepted, what I have allowed, what I have believed for myself, how I communicated my worth, etc. So what was so interesting in my journey is, after experiencing all of that stuff, I had come to a place of such wholeness that I no longer needed anyone. And in the sense of, no one needed to validate that I was a beautiful woman. I didn't need to be intimate to know I was sexy. I didn't need any of this. And then an old childhood friend showed up. He'd been watching me on Facebook for a year, had gone through his own awakening, and thought what I was talking about, that's not him calling. Yeah.
Love it.
It was like it was a message, a signal.
Yeah. Did you hear it, Tara?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. And again.
And existed. So he had been going through his awakening, and he had been watching me. And that is what I found was so perfect, was I wasn't trying to seduce anyone. I wasn't trying to be anything else. I wasn't trying to impress. It was me doing me, and then the right person could not see me, and could not be attracted to that. So when Neil and I reconnected, because we had been childhood friends, we grew up in the same mining town in Botswana. I'd gone to Portugal, he'd gone to England, I went to Holland, he went to Germany. So as we were global trotting, and he was married, I was married, I got divorced, he got divorced. And when it was the right time, so basically the right time being, I am whole, I don't need this man. Now comes the man who says, you are everything I've always hoped, but I don't need you, but I'd love to dance life with you. And it was just such an obvious match, and and it's been absolutely amazing. And we've been together now going to be 6 months that we've been together.
Aww.
And moving over to Costa Rica to be with him and so on. Yeah, but it was not in the looking for romance. It was actually when I was done with it. It showed up. It showed up.
Amazing how the universe works, hey?
Absolutely. And there was another journey, because it was so funny because people think, well, it must be beautiful, and paradise, and it is in a way. However, what I noticed was that because I fell in love with Neil in a way that I had never knew love was possible, it also allows me to feel now what is underneath everything else. So the beauty of this journey is it's never done. We are never there. No. We are this constant, expanding, incredible beings. And what Arise is doing is simply giving you the roadmap so you can master that road.
It was interesting. I was reading an article, I don't know if it was Instagram or Facebook the other day, and they were talking about conscious relationships and how basically we're each actors in each other's movie, and we see the movie or the relationship as we are. So, and it goes back to you talking about being present earlier and how most of us aren't present, and how in relationships, for a healthy relationship to work, we actually have to acknowledge that what we are experiencing and we are seeing and we are feeling is probably not even what actually is taking place. But you're right. It all of a sudden is taking us back to that hole within that we need to take a look at before reacting to these things, because even in a beautiful relationship where you're connected and it's amazing, you still reflect back to each other what still needs to be fixed within you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I love your saying that with him, that even though it is amazing, there's still a journey.
It's still a journey. And what is so beautiful is when we came together, we could feel the potential and the template of what a harmonious relationship is. And truly it was everything that I knew in my bones it could be, but never got to experience in this life. And then yet, in the ongoing relationship, what I notice is everything that is not that vibration and is not that level of absolute unconditional divine love, it's going to come up to be looked at. It's going to come up and say, honey, can you look at me? Can you clear me? Can you heal me? Can you, work with me? And many of us, when that stuff comes up, we throw it at the other person, or we bury it, or we run from it. But if we don't deal with it, it will come back again, because that is how much the soul loves us. That is how much that life really wants us to do our work.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's good in every situation, even if it is a little dark and ugly at times.
Yes.
It's, freaking beautiful underneath.
Well, and I love that you brought up the vibration aspect, because I think that's one of those things that we talk about often, but it really is so important. And when you are in a vibration, to stay in that vibration. I think Abraham Hicks talks a lot about that, being in the vortex and what you allow in the vortex and all that. But it is really true. And when you kind of like get to that level, and then you feel yourself dipping back out, it definitely, you don't seem to resonate or align with the things that you necessarily want to. So what are some of the things that you do, Lizete, to maintain that vibration? Like, what have you learned that really helps for those that aren't trying, and then they find when they bounce out of it, how do they stay there really sticky stay? Is that a thing? Can you sticky stay in the vortex?
Double-sided tape, yeah.
Oh, that's what I don't know.
Okay. That's such a great question. That's such a great question. Okay, so here's my take on it. A lot of us are thinking about vibration and even the law of attraction on a very conceptual level. And it's not conceptual at all. It is very real. It is the foundation of creating existence and allowing our whole lives are mirrors of our state of alignment, our whole lives. So a lot of people think that the law of attraction is about what I want. But that wanting is somehow very based on a fragmented foundation for many people. You know, it's what their ego wants. It's what their wounded child wants. It's what their parents wanted. It's what TV told them that they wanted. So the first step has to be the relationship with our true essence. You know, and that's why I focus on that in my work, because when I know my true essence actually doesn't want for anything.
Mm-hmm.
It wants to be at peace with itself. And it is so trusting in the universe that it trusts that there is so much coming to us that is of our highest good. Like, for example, I could have not made Neil up. I could have not made up that I was going to find him retired and ready to, you know, travel with me and live in the jungle of Costa Rica and be an absolute paradise. I could not have made that stuff up. So what is coming now is higher than what I could have imagined.
Mm-hmm.
So the vortex for me is about trusting. It is really about trusting this life. It is trusting love. It is trusting divine guidance. But it is very hard to trust if we still have trauma and if we still have hurt. You see. So that is the work. And that keeps us in the vortex. Now, how do I stay? I allow everything. So there's nothing good or bad. I don't live in duality. You know, if I wake up in a bad mood, ooh, we're in a bad mood. Cool. That's what's happening. I don't deny anything. I don't run from it. I'm just present with it. And I can be like this because I so trust this. I so know this, you know, for myself, for others. But I no longer run from it. And there is no such thing about keeping positive vibes, because if something is negative or shadow and it's showing itself, it wants to be returned to love. It wants to be acknowledged. It wants to be healed. So everything is allowed in my world. And because you're in that allowing state, that is the vortex.
That's beautiful. I love how you said that. Just being the allowing state. How easy, right?
Well, it's not easy. And that's it.
There was a slight sense of sarcasm there.
Yeah, it's not easy if we're not trusting. And that was the big aha. It's like when I went up there and I said, okay, how do I do this journey? Because I knew I was on a journey. The question became, the answer I got was, trust me. And then I noticed how much fear I actually had in my life because I didn't trust. And we cannot stay in the vortex when we are under or in control. So we've tried to do law of attraction through control, and it doesn't work. It cannot work. We cannot manipulate the universe to do what we want. We will not get what we want. And I promise you, what the universe has for us is far greater than what we think we can want. You see? It loves us so much. So loved. Yeah.
I love that.
See, don't you just love her energy? I just love it.
She's just so calming, and I'm not a morning person.
She's calm, and she glows, and she sparkles, and she shines, and she's just magical.
We all are, and we all are. I tell you, we're so precious. Thank you.
So what is next for you?
So what is next for me? I am actually 3 days away from going into production. I'm so excited about this because I have done so much of this work one-on-one with people, where they come in with this whole list of things that they want. You know, they want inner peace, they want clarity about their marriage, they want to be a better mom, and etc., be a better leader. So they've got this whole list. We walk out 3 days later, and they all say, "Oh my God, I got it." So, and many people didn't believe that, but it's also reserved for so few that are coming on these one-on-one retreats with me, or they're coming on these group retreats, which I do small groups of about 8 to 10 people 4 times a year. And I was like, okay, so how do I bring this to a wider audience of people? Because these insights are so key from someone who has been to the seminars and read all the books and has tried for so many years, but found that every modality almost is slightly or not completely taught. Like they'll give you a little piece, but then you notice there's another piece, another piece, another piece. I don't do that. I'm like, no nonsense. We need the whole story. So I put together an online journey for 6 weeks where we cover these foundations, where I really support the people to come into, you know, cross the bridge, understand this void and what it means, and then cross it to the other side of that life that they can feel, but they somehow can't touch, to that relationship that they know could be harmonious, but they can't make it for some reason. Because they need to just, you know, there is a bridge to walk, there is a journey. But once they have that roadmap, it's very different. It becomes an adventure of, oh, how far can I go? How much can I have? You know, how big can I really be? How much love can I feel? So that becomes the journey versus, oh God, I hope I'm going to make it. Yeah. or eventually be happy.
It sounds to me like the difference between crossing an Indiana Jones bridge where all the planks are falling off, that fear, and crossing this beautiful bridge across Costa Rica where you just see the nature and the beauty. And as hokey as that sounds, it kind of is, to me, that's what you're saying.
Honey, I can't tell you how important that is that you just said to me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So much. Because then I know I'm communicating it finally right, because that is the difference. And what I have seen, even in my own journey, is that sometimes, and the image might be a little graphic, so excuse me, but this is what I felt, is that a lot of times life transformation is seen as almost like someone takes a stab at you and creates a wound, and they kind of leave you on the street to bleed out. You know, and it's like, deal with it, you know. Life is, but it's good for you. It's good for you. And they kept telling me that for years, it's good for you. And I'm like, this is nonsense. So when I started in life transformation, I don't believe I need to exhaust the mind or crash or go into this incredible heartache to have the turn. I don't believe we have to have the dark night of the soul to have life transformation anymore. So this modality on purpose is built to be built on the vibration of unconditional love, which is so gentle and so profound and so peaceful that yes, I can stand in front of all of my pain and I am bigger than that because I'm connected back to the love that I am. So it is exactly that very smooth bridge. That's exactly how I created it and how I walk it today.
Well, and it's the connection too, it sounds like. And that's something that I think our society is so starved for these days, that we think connection comes from sending a text message or looking at a Facebook page and seeing what we want to see. But I think so much of what we lack is actually, or what has lacked is actually someone listening and that unconditional love. And I think unconditional love and connection they're one and the same, and that presence. And I think it's beautiful that that's what you offer.
Yes. And in the group, you know, a lot of people thought, well, in a group, can we go that deep with people that we haven't even met? And literally, and if anything, this is one of the biggest gifts in the work, is that within 30 minutes, that connection is there because I embody this journey and I create that safety. But literally to be in a space where all of you may be seen and all of you is celebrated and all of you is perfection and beautiful and you are carried, it is pretty cool. That's why we need like the 4 days, just so you can get used to navigating in space and there's no repercussions. There's complete safety to be you. And it's totally healing for sure. Her volume was off.
Well, you know, it's true. Like I remember going through one of my trainings where we had to do some of these different exercises, and eye gazing was one of them, and where we stepped closer and closer and closer together to the point where you're, you know, hand on each other's heart, gazing each other's eyes, and of course you want to be respectful and mindful of the person that you're working with, so you really, you know, want to do the exercise, but it's a lot to do. It's really interesting. Yeah, like it doesn't sound like it's that difficult to do, but when you really do and you're really looking into the person's eyes and really seeing them, it's quite an amazing experience. And I don't think if I had gone to something like that, I would have never put myself in an environment to experience that. So it was really interesting and really eye-opening, and a lot of aha moments from that.
Yes. Yes.
And
I you just hit the crux of it, hon, because all of us, in our essence, want that connection. We all want that love. But that love, that level of love, brings so much fear up because we have learned to separate ourselves from each other and from ourselves. So we have all these layers and layers and barriers and masks. And this is why wholeness is so beautiful, because we get to take all the masks off, and then here I am, and I love you, and I see you. And when we do that, the other person just, I mean, it's just incredible. But that's what we're looking for. That's what we are hungry for. But we cannot get it from other people unless we give it to ourselves first. As cliche as that sounds, but that's exactly how it works.
Oh, I like that.
I love it. Well, I mean, you know, and it's true too when you think about, just it really is. You can't give fully to others if you haven't taken care of you first. And that's something that I had to learn the hard way. So, you know, thinking it was backwards. Let's see. Hi, Harley. He's here. What does he say? It doesn't take unconditional love. It takes the mindset of someone that if someone us opening up to, there's a reason. I think I read that with a typo. Harley's in Montreal. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, and you know, I think part of unconditional love, you can't accept unconditional love unless you accept it for yourself too.
Of course. You know, just today I was on a client call, and of all the relationship drama that was happening, you know, the conclusion of it was, I'm not worthy to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us, while we're even looking for that love and we're looking for that connection, if there is any of that unhealed within ourselves, that is the reason why it cannot be seen. It cannot be felt. It cannot be received. So a lot of it is what we are seeking for is not actually out there. It is in the receiving of it.
Mm-hmm.
But to receive it, we have to be ready.
Yeah.
You know, and I remembered the first time I did Arise with my original 9, which was a pilot group, and we're still in connection every day, and they are in a group together working a 1-year journey. They it was incredible that when they loved me back, I kind of had a meltdown because I had walked so long by myself, and every time someone had loved me that much, it was going to cost me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so. And now it didn't cost me anything. It was just, could I receive it all? And this was the sisterhood, the companionship. This was the appreciation that I'd looked for my entire life, and I wasn't even able to handle it.
Well, and you know, a part of that makes me wonder too, and I know we've got to shut this down, but it makes me wonder, you know, you look back at, as women, we generations, we have been givers. We have been the nurturers. We have been the ones that give, and you never expected to receive. You never asked to receive back, whether it was money, anything. And I know a lot of women have hang-ups around money and receiving, and I was one of them. Mm-hmm. But you wonder if love isn't the same, because so many of us give, but we don't know how to receive. And I know for myself, it wasn't until going through a really tough time that I was told once that it's just as much of a gift to receive as it is to give.
Yes.
And it wasn't until then that I really realized, I'm not giving them the gift of acknowledging and receiving that. But you're right. And, you know, so much of the work is learning to receive love for yourself. And I wonder how much of that, all that to say, I wonder how much of that stems back to our roles as females always being the giver and not the receiver.
Also.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. No.
And men have it too.
So. Yes, they do. Yeah.
You know, because they have been trained, and for both the feminine and masculine, had a hard time in different ways. But I've noticed that the masculine also has a lot of struggles to receive because he was supposed to get it all done. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to do it on his own. That was his, you know, his right or earning to receive. So the many good men around us, they have a really tough time receiving care.
Mm-hmm. So maybe we can heal the whole world by just learning to receive love. Maybe it's that easy.
Yeah, I don't know about the world. I just know about our world.
Yeah, I love. So, can you tell us a little bit about a little bit more about this course that's coming out? I know you've got some retreats coming up because they're going to be juicy. So, I know I'm sure some of our viewers would love to hear about that, and me too.
Sure. So the first thing that's coming up, which is really exciting, is in August, and there's going to be a 5-day challenge, which is a rise to wholeness. And this 5-day challenge is just really the start of the journey where you can kind of start to experiment and experience the power of what I'm talking about. Because although I'm talking a lot here, what I love to create is the experience for you to experience this beyond concept, to really go into your heart. And there's a lot of the teaching I do that I actually guide meditation so that you can experience yourself in a whole new way. So I'm going to start with this 5-day challenge, which is going to be a lot of fun. And that is going to lead us then to a 6-week journey for those that really feel, okay, oh my God, in 5 days, this has already started unlocking. Then let me commit to the 6-week journey. So that 6-week journey is coming up, and it's the Rise to Shine journey. The modules are absolutely profound. And it's unlike any, really, I mean, my promise has been I'm not going to do any like half-washed, or not half-washed, how can I say it? There's so many online programs that we've purchased where they kind of just scrape the surface, and they give us a lot of this theory. This is not that type of journey. So it's really going to be a journey where we get the content, and then every week we also get to have a live call like this one, where we discuss as a community what are the big things that come up. And the beauty of this work is that it is so fundamental and foundational. And when you understand the systems of life, it doesn't really matter the form. The essence is always the same. The structures are always the same. So although in my case, it might be my love life, in another case, it's, people leading teams or struggling with their children, the essence is still the same within us and our wholeness. So we can discuss that together and really get so much out of it. Nothing, of course, online that I could do, no matter how fabulous it's going to be, ever replaces a fully immersive, present experience, being with me in person, being with others that are like us, like-minded, like-hearted, willing to go there, ready to have that life that they can feel is just vibrating underneath the surface, and being in a place like Costa Rica, which is going to be in November, or in Portugal, which is going to be in September. So I've got 2 retreats coming up this year. So those are kind of like the 3 types of experiences that I'm providing this year.
Ooh, amazing. I love it. Super juicy. Well, what can I say? It is.
It is juicy. I'm down for a retreat.
We give it snaps. We give it hearts. We love it.
So I have to ask, if there is one thing you could leave our viewers with, just a tidbit or something juicy, as Tara likes to put it, what would it be?
So one of the things is listen to the voice within you. It is absolute truth. And I avoided that voice forever. I didn't want to listen. But listen to the voice deeper within, not the one that's just that with the nonsense talk. I'm talking the voice. There is another voice that is a whisper, and that is really deep. And take that seriously. In her pain, or in her rejoicing, or in her knowing. Like when we know something And then we're like, oh, but that doesn't make sense. Oh, but Ingrid said, and Matthew said, and my boss said, and my husband, whatever. If we can listen to her wisdom, her guidance, her insights, that would be the most important thing I'd say. And the second thing that's very close, but that speaks to that, is take your emotions seriously. They are a feedback system to you. They're not here to hurt you. They're not here to piss you off, if I may say. They are really here to serve you. They are here to reflect back. Are you in alignment or are you not in alignment? And that's all they need to do. And if you will listen, they will teach you. And if you run away from them, they'll keep talking to you and they'll keep, setting things up so that you're confronted with them over and over and over again. So at a certain point, I decided, like, I've been around this mountain before. It's like I've seen different characters, different place, same story. So am I ready to deal or am I not ready to deal? But if you're ready to deal, the technology, the tools, the processes are there to absolutely, from the foundation up, transform. But take them seriously.
Beautiful.
Ooh, love that.
It gave me chills.
I know. Well, thank you so much for joining us and everything you bring to the world and for what you do for others, and even just for this 45 minutes. It's amazing how something that seems so small as something like this can actually just change the course of a person's direction. Absolutely. So, if nothing else, I hope that this show has brought that to somebody. And yeah, I think what you're doing is magic. And keep on keeping on, Lizete.
Thank you so much, Renee. It's been so lovely speaking with you both.
It's I just, like I said, I'll say it again. I love your energy. It's just you just have such beautiful energy. You're radiant, and I'm so honored that we could have this chat together because it's been amazing. You've shared so many wonderful things about your journey, and that's, I think, what's so amazing about this is when we can hear stories like yours of transformation and what you're doing and how you're bringing that light and helping others in the world. I think it's magical. I love it. And thank you so much. Of course, we will post the links below and everything for Lizete. And we have to have you back sometime, like from Costa Rica. Hello.
I want to go on the bridge with you.
Okay.
We're gonna leap. I think okay, now we have to do like a customary chair dance, the three of us.
All right, the three of us. Oh, I have to do two.
I like flossing again.
She goes, thank you everybody so much for watching today. It has been amazing. It's another episode of the Soul and Social. We will see you next time. Like us, heart us, tell your friends, share this episode out. It's magical.
Comment below.
Come below, tell us where you're from, and thank you again, Lizete. It was amazing having you here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for watching. We value your time and really hope that this changed your direction. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.